I get everything while I'm. I said I get everything else while I'm talking.
Check, check. Good. I think I've got mic 3.
Say something.
I think I've got mic 3. Hello. Check, check, check. Check. Hello, hello.
Yes, you do.
Cool.
And I got one. You ready?
Yes, sir.
I can't even. I'm going to assume. Stop that. Live. Welcome to ATL Talks, the number one streaming urban talk radio station where you can tune in right here on atltalks.com or on our app located in the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. You are tuned in to Keeping It Real Politically. This is your host, Antonio Hicks, a.k.a. Escaping the Matrix, where we talk about all things news today. I welcome back in the studio Mr. John Kedrick, the one and only Mr. Jersey, while we talk about things involving religious and doctrines.
Yeah. You have to prepare to be defended, I guess, right? There's no other way, which way about it.
Absolutely, because we are running people out the studio now.
They're no ninjas. Yeah, I mean, it's one of the things. I mean, to say the two things you're not allowed to talk about is religion or politics.
Right.
And of course, we have actually politics in the name of the show. But again, it's one of my personal things where I say, one of the reasons why people get offended by religion and politics is that we don't talk about it.
Right.
So the more we talk about it, the less we'll lose our minds when someone actually disagrees with us.
And plus, how long we've been meaning to talk about this?
A couple weeks, but fair, I mean, that's how it goes, and it probably does deserve a top of the show type of thing. See where it goes. It's important.
Yeah, because because we're kind of dedicating this whole show to it. Because I'm sure you're very opinionated on it, much so like I am as well too.
I can be. I guess. I mean, I will point out. I mean, we're a broadcast, so just in the interest of full disclosure, I am an admitted atheist. So I don't believe in religious doctrine. So I have no doubts that that kind of thinking will color and influence my thinking and my opinions. But to be fair, that's you can say the exact same thing to everyone else. So it's okay.
Right, and I mean that's my thing is even if you have a strong what's funny enough, coming over here, I was talking to one of my best friends of 20 something. God damn, my friends for 20 something years, and she's now a reformed Christian.
Okay.
Even though she was
reform or reborn.
Well, I want to say she's a newly adopted Christian,
like almost like newly baptized. That thing.
Well, she didn't even baptize yet. Yeah.
Okay.
So, because she used to be Muslim. Okay. She used to be a Jehovah's Witness.
Oh wow. Okay.
And now she's moved back here to Georgia, and she was telling me on the way here that she was going to church now, and telling me how great it was. She's going to a non-denominational church. I was like, oh, okay. So,
that's a lot of boxes, man.
Yeah.
That's almost all of them.
She come from a lot, right? She come from a lot of lanes. Right. And what was interesting about it was we were talking about one professional not R&B, but he's a religious singer. Okay. And do I want to say his name?
Is it a professional?
Oh, he's very professional. Yeah, he's very popular.
I'm fine with it. I don't see why you wouldn't, but unless there's a personal story.
No. So the conversation was about Kirk Franklin. Okay. I don't know if you know who Kirk Franklin is.
I do not.
So everybody knows who.
Atheist?
Yeah.
Religious music? I mean, I'm all for all genres, but that's probably one.
Everybody knows who Kirk Franklin is.
Okay.
Like, he's a very popular gospel singer.
Okay.
And I was like, he has a lot of... She said, he don't strike her the right way. Sometimes, I said, for me, he has some very feminine qualities I think that he's kind of dealing with. He won't come out and say.
Okay. So he's like a Tim Tebow type of guy.
Yes. Yeah. But I mean, like, Kirk
I'm sorry.
Kirk Franklin.
Did I say that out loud?
He's... Like, it's like you can tell that I would say I can tell that he's struggling with something. Okay. But he comes off as being straight. But if you see how he acts and his demeanor and stuff, you would think that he's part of LBGT. He's gay.
Okay.
So, and I'm like, I don't care. Like, I don't care either way. I said, the only time I have an issue with that is, if there's something that you're battling with, but now you've taken on a family. That's when I have a problem with it, because it's like, Okay, now come on now.
I don't like the duplicitousness. I actually have like I mentioned Tim Tebow because I actually have empathy. Because I feel like I do, I have heard stories from people that went to high school with him, and so and they're just dubious. And
Oh, he's gay.
Yeah.
Oh, I know he's gay.
What?
I didn't know he's gay.
Well, like, hold on. Like,
Well, he had to come out and say
allegedly.
it. Allegedly. Yeah.
Whoa, dragon.
Yeah.
but the point, like, let's just pretend. He may or may not be. Again,
Okay.
I don't have personal. Well, I know it's total hearsay. It's people that went to high school with him and told stories. And they weren't really salacious. It was just it is what it is when you have like kind of like you were saying, like you kind of look at a guy and you make evaluations. It could be wrong, could be right.
Yeah, I could be wrong.
But I'm gonna just like throw this out there as an like a kind of a thought exercise. Or let's pretend Tim Tebow's gay. Well, probably the same thing with the preacher you're talking about.
Yeah,
and or the gospel singer. He can't be.
You say he can't be?
It's like I can see the internal struggle of like my whole life, my doctrine, my belief system, and my Sunday through Saturday is based upon the X amount of tenets,
right?
And one of them is absolutely anti-gay. It is.
It is, yeah.
And so like I can see how like I feel bad for someone who can't accept themselves for what they are, and because they have these, I'll call them artificial restrictions,
right?
Place,
But that's why I had to correct her because she was like, "Well, I can see why he wouldn't send him because it would be wrong." So I said, "Well, why would it be wrong?" Huh. And she said, "Well, because it's in the Bible." I said, "Well, see, that's the problem I have." And I said, "Now you being my friend, and still my best friend, I can correct you on that." I was like, "It only says it one time in the Bible, and it says in the Old Testament." And I was like, it's been shown to be proven that was just added in context because it's not written anywhere else in the Bible." I said, "So why would it be wrong?" I said, "Now I could agree if you start saying like some of the acts of like fornication and stuff like that. Okay, absolutely, because it is written multiple times in about wrestling with flesh and stuff." I said, "But this is the problem I have with the religious community." I said, "Because you pick and choose what you want to call yourself holding people accountable for."
That's the thing. You pick and choose, and if we're going by, I wasn't planning on a Bible discussion. I have read the Bible.
Yeah.
Actually, go to government.
Okay.
And that's a slog, man. I like it's a brutal book to read. But you can pick that thing you point out. If we're gonna go down the Bible road, I don't know if we want to do that, but I'm fine with it. Is that there are a ton of contradictions?
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, flat out, yes or no. Like, all right, it says X, it says the exact opposite in the same chapters later on. Whether it be, how the world was created, to whether Lot was a holy man, but did horrific things.
Yeah,
in both the New and Old Testament.
Right.
So if you could pick those things, I think it's more of a construct of, again, our own personal belief systems and actual religious dogma.
Right.
We just give the religious dogma the credit.
Right, and it's like, and for those I have not said, I am a Christian. I'm a devout Christian. I do practice in a non-denominational. I grew up in a Baptist church, but I'm non-denominational. But knowing that though, I'm intellect on top of it too. Sure. Meaning I've looked at other religions that's out there, and I've looked at the history of where it even come from. And I was like, even when you start looking at the books of the Bible, it's still incomplete because we don't have all the books deciphered from the Dead Sea Scrolls. So it's like, you're trying to hold. To me, it's fine for foundational knowledge and give you something to hold yourself accountable to. So, because I don't think even you being an atheist, I think you still hold yourself to a certain standard to where if you violate certain internal rules, you would feel like you wronged yourself or wronged some part about you, right?
Okay.
I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong.
No, I can expand on that if you want. I agree with that.
So my whole thing when it comes to that is it's a foundational piece. Something that you can say, okay, this is how I should operate under my life, and hopefully, somebody somewhere. Because I'm like, nobody knows. This is the argument I always say to Christians who any other religion out there say, oh, my religion is better than yours. I say, well, who has lived to tell the tale and come back and say, hey, this is right and you're all wrong? I was like, no, and nobody has come back and said anything.
You're right about that. There's all kinds of ways I actually agree with you. That being said, it's like it's kind of what I alluded to before, where religion does take kind of, again, the atheist talking here. That religion kind of takes the credit for it, where I have a certain set of values, and a certain set of values is not based on religion, it's based on my friends, family, people I respect,
right?
And so I don't do things that are right or wrong. It has nothing to do with religion. It has to do with how I was raised and the people that are in my life. And you know what? That same thing can be said for anyone who's a Christian or Jew or Muslim, whatever. But the religion takes credit for it.
Right.
right? That's why like you have a friend that moved to different religions, like found the one that it wasn't a religion, it was just that she had a set of values, and she finally found the one that kind of fit into the mold.
Right.
Right.
Uh-huh.
And it's just that's where like it's to me a little hazy where you're talking about like again just I understand the foundations you're talking about, but I don't think it's true foundation. Again, atheist talking. I think the foundation was elsewhere, but the religion takes the credit for it. Does that make sense?
It does, but I also feel like when it comes to people's religious beliefs and why they choose to practice one religion over another, I guess it's a place of feeling home, where you feel like you want it,
Well,
and it's feeling almost like a void.
I get those reasons. I think again, if you look at the history of religions, though, like why someone is a Muslim, Jew, Christian, like even go into drill down to Hasidic Jew to Orthodox
Buddhism, yeah.
Greek Orthodox. Well, that's because you were raised that way.
Yeah, it comes from the house.
Entirely.
Yeah, it
Entirely.
absolutely comes from the house.
No, I'm not. I will say it does provide other things. It's kind of like we're in Atlanta, sports fans, go Dogs, woof. I went to school, University of Georgia. Braves just beat, Braves are winning, and my Mets just, took a,
And Falcons are losing.
just down the bed.
Yeah.
I could say something worse, but oh god, what a painful couple of weeks for Mets fans. But it's like going into like if you're in Athens, Georgia, and you just walk into a random bar as a stranger, and say "Go Dogs," you instantly have friends.
Absolutely.
And you have conversation, you have camaraderie,
Yeah.
you have all those things. You eliminates loneliness.
And you might get lucky.
Yeah,
I mean,
I tell you
if y'all have not been to downtown Athens during football season,
oh, you know what? You're not.
Don't go as an old man
And
though. Please don't.
I say the same thing in your church pew. You might get,
You might get lucky. You might get lucky.
But like I said, like you go to
the pastor's definitely getting lucky. But go ahead.
Oh yeah, unfortunately. But you can say the same thing as going to any kind of organization like that, where you have togetherness, you have camaraderie. You might get lucky, and you have instant friends. If you walk into whatever church you want to walk into, non-denominational, like your friend's talking about, immediately is found a space where she can communicate and be with other people on somewhat even and level playing field.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I think it's about finding a place where she feels comfortable going and that kind of feels something that she's been missing. And if that's what it is, then that's what it is. I'm happy for her because I think it's better to come from a place like that as opposed to. Oh, you about to kick the camera. As opposed to not having nothing and you just lost. Because, I mean, studies have shown, and I mean, you can say it's from energy or whatever, but those people that are on their deathbed and they have faith in something and belief in something and they start praying, that they're shown to actually come out of that as opposed to those who don't.
I'm not sure about that. 'Cause I know I've read many studies where, when applying a control group, maybe we're thinking of two different studies. Because I was thinking about people that were prayed for.
No, I'm not talking about the people prayed for. I'm talking about those. I'm talking about the ones themselves, not the ones that prayed for.
Again, you're saying.
But I think that's a matter of your will to want to live.
Yeah, I agree with that more than anything else.
Yeah.
And it's the power of prayer or whatnot. I just I hesitate to give prayer that much credit when it gives when I look through my Facebook feed and it's like prayer.
Yeah, everybody praying everything. Yeah.
I'm like, well, it's like it feels like there's a absence of it allows people to not do anything practically. So I've seen.
What do you mean by that?
I have seen this where something bad happens. I'll pray for you, and then you walk away. And I know it's happened to you. I know it's happened to everyone here. And you know what? If you believe, that's great. High five. Woo-hoo. And maybe I do feel better if I believe in that, but I don't. And the person is praying. Now I've actually done something constructive. Well, probably not. I've seen so many times where someone's sick or having a problem. I'll pray for you. How about send them some soup? That'll actually do something. It gives an excuse to kind of not it gives the satisfaction of doing something when you actually haven't done anything. Again, atheist talking.
I mean, I would agree with you on that. Yeah, somebody said they're going to pray for it, they don't. I mean, because I'm guilty for that. I used to be guilty of that. Now I tell myself, if I see somebody going through something, I say I'm going to pray for you, I'm going to send positive energy where I do go ahead and just do it right then and there. Because I do think that you can send good energy to somebody.
I agree with that.
I do think you can send good energy to somebody to help boost them up and help, liven their spirits, to give them some type of hope. I do agree with that. But now I don't, like I said, when it comes to people's religious beliefs, though, I don't care what your religious belief is. I don't think you should force it upon anybody. Like, I don't think anybody should be condemned. Like, you see the people on the side of the road, like, the apocalypse is coming, the world is about to come to an end. And I'm like, well, how do we, and again, this is from somebody I have looked at many of religious beliefs and going down the road of doing research, even all the way back to the Egyptians and our sun god and everything else. I'm like, I've seen all those things and I've read into them. But I'm like, at the end of the day, it's about, what you want to, who you choose to bow down to and who you choose to pray to. But even if you have that, I don't think you should force those beliefs upon those around you. You can tell somebody, but I don't think that should be like the end all, especially like, and this was one here in the US, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing we have. Was it what's it called? Proselytizing evangelical Christians,
right?
And that's where the religion itself, by evangelical Christians, the main tenet is you must spread the word.
Right.
That's the point.
Right.
And so, like, I don't want that word spread on me, but according to that doctrine, they must force it on me.
Yeah.
Or must try to force it on me. That's better paraphrasing.
Yeah.
And so again, that's running that problem. Like, I'll say, like, obviously, like I said, I'm an atheist. My thing I've noticed is that, like, I have a problem where, as being an atheist, like I'm saying that now on broadcasting it, but in my personal life in Southeast Georgia, especially, I can't just say I'm an atheist and walk away.
Nah, because people won't challenge you.
Always. And I'm like, listen, man. And I've always been hands up and just like, hey, man, like, listen, it's cool. You be a Christian and I'll be atheist and just, drink a beer.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily possible.
No.
It's possible, which is not.
It pisses me off because when President Obama was in office, right? What was the fear about Muslims coming here, their personal jihad? And they're going to force us to do all this. They're going to come over here because it was Ilhan Omar. Oh, now we got not Rashida Tlaib. What is Rashida Tlaib, right? She's a Muslim, or is the other one? Two of the squads.
I know. It's two of the squads.
Two of the squad.
And one of them actually tried to force some like Muslim doctrine into law as well.
Yeah, and I
can't remember which one it is.
And I think that should be fine. Yeah. Because if you want to tell me you want to get prayer back in the school, I'm like, well, not everybody here is a Christian.
Right.
So how are you trying to force these kids up in here to pray for somebody that they don't even believe in at home, especially in the Jewish community?
Okay.
So when it's like you were pressed so hard about Muslims coming to this country and taking over and performing the jihad over here, but you're quite all right with Christians doing the exact same. And this is coming from a Christian. I grew up a devout Christian. I still practice Christian. I don't go to church because church is shady as hell. Not all churches. I'm sorry, y'all pastors out there. Not all churches. The ones I visited, but not all churches. But yeah, my thing is though, I don't, even me being a Christian, I don't force my beliefs on anybody. I'm like, it is what it is. I'm not going to sit here and make you do anything. And that's the problem I do have with most Christians, because it's almost we talk about colonizers, right?
I'm sorry?
Colonizers.
Okay, yeah, colonizers.
So now we talk about colonizers, but then when you go into the church and you start talking about those, I forget the term what it's called, when they go out and want to minister to other people.
Mission.
Yes, mission work. Yeah. So one church I went to pissed me off. It really pissed me the hell off. They went to a Muslim country in Africa. I forget which one it was. Went to a Muslim country in Africa.
I've heard this story probably, but
no, this is in the church. It's like this is the church doing it.
Yeah.
So they went to this village, had one person convert to become a pastor then, and then start having the pastor bring people into the church, but sneaking it, because if they got caught doing it because of the policy rules that was there, they would get killed. So now you got them sneaking behind the scenes to do all this stuff, and you're doing this, but you can get on the plane and come back home while they're there 24/7. And then you know what you're going to tell them to do? Oh, just pray about it. And I'm just like, but that's
lives in danger.
Yeah, you're putting lives in danger. And I'm like, That's not right. And like, I don't care what your belief is, because you wouldn't want a Muslim doing that to you. You wouldn't want a Muslim. You wouldn't want a group of Muslims coming over here and start forcing people to start practicing.
Right. Now kids we have to pray 5 times a day.
Right.
Like, well, no, like I don't want. I don't. That's a thing where like even South Park got caught with Muslims where they had an image of Muhammad.
Right.
Which is a problem.
Oh yeah. I mean, they went in.
Years old,
yeah, then they killed when they shot people up in the news station.
That's a legit problem.
Yeah.
So like, all right, well, like, I understand that Muslims can't, do a picture of Muhammad. Fine, okay.
Right.
But I'm not Muslim, so I'm cool.
Right. No.
Yeah,
but you're not cool.
Right.
But you're not cool.
That's a literal thing in my head. Like, oh my God. But that's the same principle to what you're talking about.
Right.
We, forced prayer in school. That's the thing about like prayer in schools that people don't understand. It is totally fine to pray in school. You can pray in school.
Yeah, I have no problem with that.
It's when the teachers and there's organized prayer, that's when they run into trouble.
Yeah.
This. And every time, 100% of the time, like whenever, like, say there's 25 kids and just one kid doesn't want to pray.
Right.
Maybe just different, like, hey, I'm a non-denominational and I just, he can't say no.
Right. No.
There is a serious social cost.
Yeah.
It's happened so many times where, like, if that's even found out, they have to leave town. I have a friend of mine that's actually going through that, where his kids are just, like, hey, if you want to be Christian, you're a Christian, but it's just, we don't believe, we're agnostic.
Uh-huh.
And so it's in Forsyth County, I believe, or Cobb County. No, DeKalb County.
DeKalb?
Yeah. And, no, it's not DeKalb. It's Forsyth. But anyways, it doesn't matter. So his kids are like, 8 and 10.
Uh-huh.
And, they found out, like, the school kids found out, oh, we don't, we just, we want to do Sunday. Oh, we're going to church. All right, well, I'm not going to church, but, if you want to play basketball, that's fine. And then it just got out, and now they are kind of ostracized. And this is just 8-year-olds. Like, dude, like, that is the cost of this. That I have a problem with. That's the reason. I don't care if you go to church. Go to church,
Yeah.
But when people are talking about like prayer in school and these things, these are the prices that we have to pay, and it's just not. It's way too high.
Yeah, I mean, because it's the same thing with abortion, right? Because I mean, we was gonna touch on this a while ago anyway with the Roe versus Wade stuff going on, but it's like you forcing the abortion on people, the abortion ban on people, because you're like, well, the Bible tells me, but I'm like, well, what about everything else? I'm like, what about the alcohol that you're drinking? What about, your body? Because you're supposed to be, your body's your temple, but yet you're grossly overweight, or the profanity, or the fornication.
I love profanity, by the way.
I do too. I can't curse on this show, but I do. I do. I don't curse around my kids though, but I do.
I start doing the vowel sounds. Ask me like someone trying not to.
And if you live in Atlanta and you sit in Atlanta traffic, everybody curses. If you don't curse, if you tell me you don't curse, you sit in traffic, you're a liar.
Hey, science says cursing is good for you.
Yes, it is. It's therapy. But yeah, that's my thing, because it's no different than, the Quran.
Yeah.
I'm pushing my religious Muslim beliefs onto you. We can't have that here in the United States. This is a founded nation based on Christianity. It's like, no.
Negative.
No. Yes, it's actually the opposite, because we didn't want to be held under those religious doctrines.
Absolutely. If we wanted, we're racing for religious freedom to do whatever. Right. To pray literally, it was to pray for whoever the hell we wanted.
Right.
And like the abortion thing you mentioned, like it always makes me laugh. That's where I was saying before, where it's not necessarily religion that gives us this; it gets the credit for it. That's the church was the main one that performed the abortions.
Yes,
they were performing abortions up until
especially if you was procreating with those outside of your religious beliefs. Yeah. They had to go because that was a sin in itself.
Or color your skin.
Yes. Yeah,
or even just socioeconomic, and it could be like I'm Italian. Oh my God, it's an Irish woman. Oh
right.
God, we can't have that. And actually, even the abortion debate that started, it really gained traction because you look back in the day where like John F. Kennedy was Catholic, and then before like no one cared about it. Wasn't Christian when it came to politics. It was Catholic or Baptist or whatnot.
Which is still a form of Christianity.
What's that?
Well, I said which is still a form of Christianity.
Yeah, they are, but they weren't called that. They weren't called Catholic.
Yeah.
They weren't called Christian. Then it really was. Roe versus Wade was a political activism to get all Christians under one umbrella. artificially so.
Mm-hmm.
So this way they can have a big voting bloc, and that's where abortion and Christianity come hand in hand. That was the second Roe versus Wade came into play. That's when they were Christians, not Catholic or Baptist. And that's, again, so like we have to figure out whether it's politically motivated or what's the paradigm here? Where does it come from? True belief or?
I'm like, why do you even care?
Yeah.
Like, why do you even care like who somebody marries? I don't care what you're doing at home. I honestly don't care. I don't care that Bill Clinton cheated on his wife. I don't care.
I'm with you.
Yeah, it's
100%.
like it has nothing to do with me. It doesn't make or break me. You don't put no food on my table. I don't care how many people you're smashing at home. I don't care what type of people you're smashing at home. I'm gonna go as far as to say I don't even care if you're practicing bestiality. I don't care. I don't care if you're smashing the neighbor's dog, the horse. Well, I do care if it's the neighbors because the neighbor. The
Yeah,
dog.
that's not fair.
Yes, yeah. but the other, it's just the whole bottom line is I honestly don't care. It's you're not taking anything away from me. So why am I going to even go as far as to create a policy to say that if you're doing anything is wrong?
By the way, that's in the works right now.
It is, yes.
And I'm with you. Like I don't, as long as consenting adults.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter to me. Because I say the same thing when it comes to racism. I'm like, why do you care what somebody else's skin tone is? Why do you care about what religion they do? I was like, how does it change anything that you have going on? How does it stop you from paying your power bills? How does they lower the cost of gas? Like, how does it make food cheaper? Like, how does it help with the supply chain? Why does it matter? Like, that's the thing that baffles me the most. Absolutely. When it comes to any of those things. Because I'm like, I don't care enough about what somebody else has going on in their life if it's not affecting mine personally. It's only when you start doing something that affects my livelihood do I get pissed off. And I'm like, okay, now I have to reach for something to handle the situation.
Which again is exactly what we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Forced religion.
Yes.
Like, you're in my kitchen now. Go away.
Yeah.
All I want you to do is just go away. Like, it's just like I don't care. It's none of my business.
Yeah, it's not.
I'm a big fan of none of my business.
Right.
You're smoking weed, don't care.
Yeah, I don't care.
What?
To a degree. Now, I did have a situation.
Oh, really?
Where my neighbor up under me was smoking a hell of a lot of weed, and it was coming into my apartment, and I work for a corporation that does not allow.
Again, it's in your kitchen.
Yes.
It's invading.
Okay, I get what you're saying. Yes.
Yeah,
what you do at your own home. Yeah, I don't care.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Gay marriage, like I'm a big gay marriage proponent.
Yeah, I am too. Yeah.
And just like, why is this a topic?
Yeah.
We're wasting so much energy. We could solve problems. This is not a problem.
Yeah, it's not a problem. Yes. It's like I always say, everybody knows me, y'all been listening to this show, I care about the next evolution of humanity.
Yeah.
And that's not a part of it. That doesn't come into the equation anywhere. It's not a factor. It's not a variable. I need you to consider that that's not anything that's going to push us forward or take us back.
I mean, we have to move forward. We have to learn more, recognize what honest to God problems.
Yeah.
If a starving kid, give him a sandwich. Let's find a way to get kids sandwiches.
Right.
Doctors. These are real problems. This is a tactile problem we should all agree on. Mm-hmm. This gay marriage stuff, or my favorite is called Kaepernick.
Yeah.
Like
a knee.
Oh, who cares?
Yeah.
Like, all of a sudden, everyone cares. Like I remember, this is the way to do it. Like again, I'm a super white guy. I was in Trumplandia when I was going on. But like, first off, for me, that was one of those things where it doesn't affect my life at all.
No.
And all of a sudden, everyone cares a lot about this guy just taking a knee on. Who cares?
And the problem, and the thing I have about that is, you care about what he's doing, but you don't care about what you're doing. So he's taking the knee to the anthem going on, yeah. And certain people are standing there with their hand over their heart, but you grabbing a beer and a hot dog, a blicky. from the restaurant inside of the stadium that he's taking the knee, but you pissed off.
That's what I did. I have no problem saying national anthem for my whole adult life. That was the time to get a beer, because everyone's distracted. All right, line short.
Yeah, line short. Yeah.
Then all of a sudden that happened, and even when I'm at my buddy's house,
mm-hmm.
I remember the last Super Bowl party I went to, and I was they did the national anthem. I'm like, we're at a buddy's house. Who cares? And I was told I have to stand in my buddy's living room. Like, oh my God. All right, I'm going outside. Like you guys do. No. Again, it's almost like forced prayer.
Yeah, because in our household when we are celebrating, we pouring drinks. Nobody's standing up singing the national anthem. We're just not doing that at all.
No, if you want to stand, great. Go on, take a knee, great. Or if you want to go get a beer, great. Does not affect me at all. Do your thing. I don't care.
Yeah, that's the issue I have overall with you forcing anything upon anybody. Like I said, if it's not, as long as you aren't hurting me, then yeah, I don't care what the hell you're doing. I honestly don't care what you're doing.
Yeah, it's the forcing issue. Like I did work at the Georgia Capitol for a while, and 2 years ago, and they do prayer, before during session, and then have a preacher come in during session.
Yeah.
And do actually do a sermon for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Solid 2 hours of prayer. Now, again, I'm an atheist.
Yeah.
I can't not. I might literally get kicked out if I don't participate. That's in the government building.
This happens. Yeah, he's right. This happens at the Capitol, and it happens at in DC too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not every I assume not every senator or rep is Christian.
No.
And they're being forced to sit through church at the government building. That's just not appropriate.
Mm-mm.
And that's the kind.
But then we're in the South though. So let you say anything about, especially the Bible itself in the South. Like I love having that argument with people. I was like, you raised your worst enemy because you brought me up in the church, and I was like, I'm not speaking up against anything in the Bible, but I'm going to correct you when you start spreading lies. Right. Like the minute you start talking about what the Bible says, what does the Bible say? Let's have that debate. What does the Bible say? Because I can show you many places where the Bible says something that you're doing wrong. So I was like, so we gonna do apples for apples. Okay, cool. Okay, fine. If we're gonna hold these people accountable, we're gonna hold you accountable too.
That's where again the Bible, like we mentioned earlier, has a pile of contradictions.
Yes.
So it's not the Bible. It's impossible to live your life according to the Bible.
No,
it's impossible.
No.
And so because there's too many contradictions. You're going right, and it says go left, and
right.
Left, go right, and then turn around. And it's. I mean, I'm not saying. I'm just saying that if you're going to do that, then you have to take the whole thing. We have to take that book out.
Right.
It's about the beliefs. It's about the foundations. What are the foundations? And tell me those. But if you use the Bible,
you had a whole man that you praise, and he danced in front of his people naked, and he sent his boy off to war because he wanted to smash his wife, and got his dude killed, and still smashed his wife and got her pregnant, but we're cool with that. I'm like, come on, let's think about that. Then you had one of his sons that became the richest person in the world, that had a harem of women that he was smashing left and right, on top of witches dealing with him too.
Again, smashing is cool according to the Bible.
Yeah, absolutely. It feels good.
Yeah.
Science says.
Science says. We're doing segments, and we're going to create segments.
Yeah.
Science says at some point.
I mean, because if it didn't feel good, nobody would be doing it. I mean, nations get taken over because it feels good.
It's just that's the weirdest. That's another weird thing. Like, just admit everyone's doing it.
Yes.
Bill Clinton to your next door neighbor to everyone, your bartender to your doctor, everyone doing it.
Because what's the thing that's going on with?
Doesn't affect me.
You got what is it going on in Iran? I forget what happened to the young lady. Oh, did she took her hijab off, right? The young lady in Iran.
This is one of many different.
So the recent case in Iran, which prompted me when I talked about this in the first place, was the young lady over there. I think she took it off, and somebody saw her, and they ended up arresting her, and she somehow died while in custody.
Yeah, it's again. I mean, I'm not a scholar, but when it comes to and I hate to hammer out Islam and really just zero on that, but when it goes to Islamic fundamentalism, there's many stories.
Yeah.
Of a woman having the gall to show her forearm, or even worse, it's a shame because she was raped.
Yeah.
By someone that was not her husband, and
right.
so her father would kill her.
Yeah.
And
it wasn't even her fault.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. And so I mean, this is not a new thing. It's where I'm trying to remember how long ago it was where that was a bunch of school children, right?
Yeah.
It was I think this was in Africa. It wasn't in the Middle East where they were burned. They were burned alive in a church because they didn't have the mutwa, which is what we're talking about with Forrest having that G-bond.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were just burned alive for not wearing the right shirt.
Yeah. Yeah. And then they talk about people, Muslims that was tearing down. Who was it? It wasn't Al Qaeda. Who was the other group? They was tearing down all the ancient statues and stuff.
Mujahideen?
Yeah.
I can't spell it.
But then what do we do over here? We over here bombing the what was it? The tower up here. what is it called? The Georgia Guidestones.
Oh, George Gaston?
Yes. Tell me it was demonic. Tell me, I'm glad y'all took down the demonic structure. I said, well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Because you were pissed off that the Islamic people over here was tearing down all of this old ancient stuff and talking about, see, that's why we have to take them out. That's why we fight this war. But then it's okay for you to be up. First of all, it's okay for you to be burning a cross. Like, why the hell are you even burning a cross in the first place?
Yeah, I don't get that one. I really don't get that one. Yeah, that I need help on. Like, what?
I'm confused at it. And those are one of the things, like, I still want to ask in my life. I still want to have somebody in the show that's actual racist so I can understand why they actually become a racist and why they think the way they think. But I would love to understand that. Like, what do you get off burning a cross? Like, why is it even a thing?
I don't understand it. I just like I laugh at you like I just got to meet a racist. Like,
yeah, I would love to.
Let me tell you, like,
I would love to.
They're out there.
Yeah, they are. I would love to talk with one. I mean, I wouldn't even get mad at them. I mean, you are who you are.
They're everywhere.
Yeah.
That was the thing. Like, I've mentioned about story. I haven't even told you like about the Chappelle show where like the white guy bank where he goes behind. Oh my God, the free money. That's where.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, black guy. No money.
So.
But I remember I did a road trip around the country, and it's amazing. It's everywhere. Like, so I would go look the way I look, and I look like a golfer. You know, like blonde hair, smooth white skin. And if I go to bars, and it's amazing the change in conversation because I'm automatically accepted, and it's just a reality.
Yeah, it's here in South Georgia. We have a place here in South Georgia. They have a sign in front of the store. It's a bar too. And it says the most racist things that you can find. And they've been asking police to have it moved down and taken down and stuff. And I'm actually cool with that. Like, oddly enough, I come from out of Macon, Georgia. To me, y'all that's not from the South or from Georgia itself, Macon is like it was a small town in the state of Georgia. It's it's an hour and a half outside the city, South Georgia. Man, it's racist as hell. Like, it was. Now it's not so much, but it was growing up. And we had places down in South Georgia that was just becoming segregated. And I'm like, they were still segregated. And I'm like, and it still happens here. But I'm okay with it because I'm like, and that's why I was happy with 45 when 45 brought them out. I said, it's easy for me to know who you are as opposed to guessing who you are and what you believe in.
Kind of. Now
I love it.
Because now I get that and I agree with it. But like, all right, now they're out and proud.
Yeah.
And now they're being aggressive.
Now I know who my enemy is. As opposed to guessing who my enemy is.
I guess so, but they've normalized and made it okay.
Yeah.
Like, the KKK. I mean, I had a boss that said that some of the KKK has some good ideas. That's in the past 10 years. Like, that's like, and and by the way, he's not a racist. I'm not a racist.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, that's what they always say, right? I'm not a racist. But yeah.
So like it's normalized this behavior. I get what you're saying.
But even being racist and then using the Bible to back up your racism too.
Now we're out and proud. We can actually be overt racist now, and now we're taking our steps back.
But I'm still fine with it though. Like I'm really fine with knowing again who my enemy is, as opposed to operating in a place of are they? And you got to sit there and wonder by their demeanor or their gestures or things that they say, because it's like, but now. I don't have to guess. You don't like black people. You don't like Asians, because Asians caught all the hate during the pandemic. You don't like, you don't like Mexicans. Like you can't stand Mexicans. But I'm like, you don't worry about the north border and people coming across or flying in here, planes, trains, and automobiles. You're just worried about somebody crossing the desert. But
brown skin, that's it. It just, I don't know. Like I think they were there, and I think they've been reinforced. That's the problem. It's the reinforcement of these poor ideas.
Yeah,
I think the knowing that they're out there, I get that, but I just think the reinforcement is a too higher price.
And that still falls in lines with religious doctrines, beliefs, and what you were taught. Yeah. Like you taught to hate somebody's race. Don't ask no questions. Like you don't even. To me, I would. If I was a kid, I would still ask that question. I mean, here, like me in the Bible. Like I grew up in the Pentecostal. Then we switched to Baptist before we switched to non-denominational. So as I got older, I started asking questions. And then, of course, now the problem I have with church when it comes to if you ask a question, oh, that's blasphemy. I'm like, well, I'm trying to understand. I was like, how can I not ask a question? I said, because the pastor only going to teach certain parts of the Bible to emphasize his or her point. So I was like, but I'm not getting the whole context. Well, that's why you got to go read. So now that I've read, I want to ask some questions. Can I ask some questions? But no, they don't even encourage that.
They actually discourage it.
Yes.
Right? I mean, we make fun of Scientology all we want,
Yeah.
for these reasons, but they all do it.
Yes.
I'm sorry, they do. And so, because if you ask questions, then you start thinking and you start seeing these contradictions. You're like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
And what do you need them for? They all say emphasize that where like you must go to church.
Right.
You need us. You need this this guy in the collar or the guy with a yarmulke on or whatever. You need that person. You need that institution.
And that's why
I get to give them money.
And I love clapping at people that start talking about Islam. I said, well, Islam comes from Abraham, right? Yeah. Well, and I said, Abraham, he was a disciple, right? So I was like, so I'm sorry. So aren't they kind of like brother and sister? The word themselves are like brother and sister. So I was like, so if you got a problem with one, so you have a problem with the other one? Well, they don't believe in Jesus. I said, but you support Israel. Israel don't believe in Jesus. Nope. They think he was just a regular old disciple like other folks.
Yeah, I mean, that's the main difference. We call them the big three, right? They're all kind of has the same foundations as Islam and Christian and Judaism. Basically, Judaism is waiting for the Savior.
Yeah.
That hasn't shown up yet.
Yeah.
Christianity says the Savior showing up, it's Jesus.
Yes. And he's coming back.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's still weird being out. I don't get like the whole zombies eat Jesus thing. That's that's a whole different thing. And then Islam says, oh, it's Muhammad.
Yeah.
And then from there, so like they all have a lot of the really the same foundations, and then they just disagree on the salient daily life points, I guess.
Yeah. It is. It is. Because even like Pentecostals, like you can't wear anything that would have you looking like a man. So no pants, like it was all dresses and stuff. And of course, people they want to change it up. Just like, why can't I just wear some pants? Like just because I'm wearing pants doesn't necessarily mean I'm not a Christian. So I was like, oh, okay. Well, then that applies towards other religions too. Oh, yeah. So aren't you in violation?
Like which ones? Like again, you have in the Bible, it's just as it's the death penalty for working on a Sunday.
Yes, the Sabbath day, absolutely.
And also for wearing interwoven fibers.
Yep. Like, cannot be mixed. It cannot be mixed.
That's you gotta die.
Mm-hmm.
Like what? Again, it's in the Bible.
Eating uncleansed animals, and y'all love some bacon. Y'all love some bacon sandwiches, bacon ice cream. Y'all love bacon.
Again, I'm all as a guy who worked in the restaurant industry most of his life. Like, all right, I get that dietary restriction, but like, really, like having a piece of bacon is you're going to hell?
Yeah.
Like that's the one. It's okay to kill somebody.
And then for all those people,
like in the name of God, but you have a slice of ham, and all of a sudden you're going to hell. Like what?
Yeah, I've had to correct so many people. I was like, people that especially say, "Oh man, we can't do pork because pork is, it's a sin for this and sin." I said, "Do you know that pork is in everything? Like literally, pork is in everything. Pork is in gunpowder. Pork is in those gel tablets that you be taking. Pork is in the gelatin that you eat at home. If you don't already realize that, it's in those gummy savers that you like." I said, "Pork is in everything."
Yeah, pork fat.
Yes, you can't get away from it.
Yeah, it's just and apparently we have a lot of people that just realize they're going to have a religious quandary once we're.
Oh yeah. If you're a gun owner, you're a gun owner. Oh, no. Yeah. Yes, pork is in. If you don't believe me, pork is in gunpowder. Go look it up.
It's, it is what it is. Just like you said though, like the original part is all these things.
Yeah.
I will preface with again, atheist talking. I definitely have my opinions on what religion should be in our society.
Yeah.
But the number one thing is get out of the kitchen.
Yeah. Okay.
If you believe in it, go to church.
Yeah.
Do it. And you know what? I have a friend of mine that's in rehab right now. And you know what? If the Bible's better than heroin.
Yes.
It's better than a lot of things. You're saying that trying to find that and fill that empty space.
Yes.
It's better than a lot of things.
Yeah.
Just don't force it on anyone.
Right, and that's really to me what it all boils down to. I mean, that's really the whole topic of the whole conversation is itself. Don't force it upon anybody. I don't want you forcing anything that you believe upon me. Right. Let it still be an option, because when you stop making it an option is when I get upset. I don't care what religious you practice. I'm not going to sit here and tell you my Christian beliefs are greater than your beliefs. I'm not going to do that, because again, nobody knows. And of course, I'm sure my family, if they listen to this and they listen to the pre-recording, they're going to get pissed off and be like, oh my God. But I'm like, it is to me, it kind of is what it is. It's like, yes, I grew up in the church. I still believe in it and I still practice it. But I'm not one of those people that's ignorant to the fact that there are other religions that exist. And who am I to sit here and tell them that mine is better than theirs because we don't have any? I'm a fact person. I mean, I'm an IT person. I believe in data. There is nobody to go and come back like we said earlier, the first part of the show, to say, "Hey, man, I'm sorry, but we're team this such and such up here. What you believe in, that's not it up here. You need to go to some other place because that's not working. That's not the right ticket to get up here to heaven or wherever."
Yeah, in Coal Paradise, wherever it is, that no one knows exists.
Yeah.
Like you said. But yeah, just don't for it. Be like just you believe in this, I believe in that. Great, that's all you gotta do. But and keep your head on swivel when you're in different places.
Yeah.
Like there was a guy that was in Korea about 15 years ago, and he went to jail because he kept on leaving Bibles in bathrooms, and then he went to jail up in arms. Like, well, that's a big problem. That country.
Yes.
Don't do that.
Yes. Yes. Don't go violating somebody else's rule because again, you wouldn't want them doing it here in the U.S. Because you've already made that very clear.
Oh yeah.
Like let's ban all the flights from the Muslim countries.
Yeah.
Because we don't want any of them coming from over there to over here.
I just, we have to figure out a way to just get these ideas, like bring the violence all the way down to nothing, and just be like, dude, you go there, I'll go there, it's cool, high fives.
Yes, to me, it boils down. Like I'm gonna keep saying it because as I get older, this is the one thing I only care about is the evolution and the sake of humanity.
Yeah.
Because as it's going right now, it's looking pretty bad, and the robots once they take over, they're really gonna kill us off. Because we argue about petty stuff. And we argue about cash flow. Even though cash is good, but we still argue about petty things as opposed to worrying about the things for our own personal advancement. Let's worry about colonizing the actual moon. Let's worry about colonizing, getting on a different planet. Don't take it trash of it because we are junky people. But yes, let's work about making civilization greater down here on Earth. Let's work on ending homelessness. Let's work on making sure kids are not starving. Let's work on making sure that people got access to healthcare and they're not dying because they don't have access to healthcare or it costs too goddamn much. I don't care about your religious beliefs. I don't care what you do at home, as long as you're not harming anybody. That's the only time I care, as long as you're not harming anybody. Right. What you do with yourself and the toys that you have nothing to do with me.
Right.
My thing is what's better for humanity's sake and what we can do to push us forward. Because as this stands right now, this ain't it.
That's what Jesus would do.
Yes.
That's the thing.
Absolutely.
That's exactly what. And I'm with you. Like that's the thing is that again, it's a problem I have is it's a manufactured problem.
Yeah.
It bothers me. I went to a couple LGBTQ things, and when I was in college, just graduated a couple years ago, and I had a problem where we're still talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Who cares?
Yeah.
This is not a problem.
No.
This is wasted energy. We could be giving, like you said, curing cancer.
Yeah.
Or giving sandwiches to hungry kids.
Yeah.
Or figuring out the ridiculously bad problem in the South of infant mortality rates, which is worse than third world countries. That's a problem. It's obvious. So let's go ahead and trust these things instead of this manufactured stuff.
Yeah. So as we wind down, I'm gonna give you a final thought.
I just, again, you've heard me say before, I'm a big fan of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Keep thinking. I love thinking, and like you said, just be positive. We're talking about before, just like the main thing is, if you're being positive and trying to do genuinely good stuff, be respectful of what other people think. Because when you're trying to force these religious doctrines on other people, you think you're being positive,
and you're not.
But you're not. It's being very, very oppressive. So just be aware of that at the very least.
Yeah, so thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Keeping It Real Politically. We will be back here again next Tuesday at 6 p.m. My final thought is, like I always say, lead with your heart, because you lead with your heart, you will never go wrong. It's out of love, not your religious love, but lead with love to where you want to help other people out and not worry so much about yourself, because that's why we were put here. I mean, even from a cellular standpoint, that's what we do to procreate and to help out other people around us. So love you guys. Y'all stay safe. I will holler at y'all next Tuesday. Thank you again, John.
Word.
Peace out.